So axis opening and internal anatomy topic now I'm taking. Axis opening is defined, it's again a definition. Let us leave with that. It means that from the top, so we have to reach the tip of the apex. Then how to reach that? So if imagine that you want to, a lion is sitting on the sitting in a den, okay, a deep den is there. So you have to catch the lion in the deeper end. So how you go there? First you start with the one step. So one step you open, you enter it. As you go down, 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 you will reach. So here our target is that we have to reach the apex. So that is our interest area. So from the top to bottom, we have to reach the apex. That is our interest area. And to reach that, these are all the efforts we keep. Okay. And again, for all the tooth, it is not having this like a definite shape. They have a different shape. Now let us learn that one. Pulp cavity is made up of two components, pulp chamber and root. We have done with that. It contains pulp horn, pulp floor, roof, everything we have done. Pulp canal contains apical foramen, I told. I have shown you the pictures of that. Accessory canals, I have shown you it can be the percussion level, at the middle third level, or at the apical delta. So the canal is, this is the important point here. The canal is divided into three parts: apical 1/3, middle 1/3, and coronal 1/3. From now onwards, we'll be talking apical 1/3, middle 1/3, and coronal 1/3. So factors which are affecting here are the age. This topic I've already told you. As the age progress, the pulp chamber gets shrink and it will become small. And irritants, okay, and periodontal disease, calcification, metamorphosis, that one also I've told. Calcification, resorption, everything has been discussed. Okay, and this Wien's classification, Grossman's classification. So everything in nutshell, we have to call it as 212, like that we have to mention. So this is now again an important topic called as, we have some laws. So how to identify these canals, chambers, everything, we have a dentinal anatomy. So to enter into the den, it has some clues, okay, that we call it as laws. Okay, this, the main law is called as law of centrality or concentricity. What does it mean? It means that for any tooth, pulp is the heart, and heart is always at the center. That is a blind, always at the center, except we have one exceptional, that is upper molars. Only to that one it is little bit mesially placed. Otherwise, for all the tooth, it is at the center. That is called as law of centrality, law of concentricity. So, if the pulp orifice we can locate at the equally distance from the outline, then the next law is called law of CJ. So where it is found? It is found at the level of cemento-enamel junction. If you see your extracted tooth, you can see your floor at the level of your CJ. Once you come to the preclinical workshop, we can see this very clearly. That is called as law of CJ. Law of orifice location. Uh, so in the dentinal map, it can be color change. We'll be having some color changes. So if this is the, I'll take one plain sheet and I can explain you like that. Okay. Now we are not drawing the tooth. Now we are drawing the pulp chamber. Okay. If this is the wall. Okay. And here is the anatomy floor. So we have a orifice location, law of orifice location. We have three laws. One law says that the orifice is at the point where the wall and the floor are meeting, uh, like this. Okay, and another law says this, it is the wall, and if this is the floor, It says that the orifice is located at this junction at the expense of the floor, like this. And other law says that if this is the wall and this is the floor of the pulp chamber, it is located at the expense of the wall. So at the point is one law, at the floor is other law, at the wall is other law. This type of axis is called, this type of law is called as Mickey Mouse house orifice location. So at the wall level you will have this type of opening. It is very rare. Usually we'll find this. Clinically we'll be seeing this as more percentage. Again, first more percentage is this type, second is this type, and very rare is the Mickey Mouse house type of opening. If Mickey Mouse type of house opening is there, then your files will bisect. If you feel that your files are bisecting in your working length, then it shows that you have an orifice of Mickey Mouse type. This is called as law of orifice location. Okay. So anatomy of a canal. Isthmus. Isthmus means if two canals are there, their junction, their joining is called as an isthmus. It is a ribbon-shaped internal connection. C-shaped canal. I think I have shown you already another picture where the canal is a C-shaped. So if this type of canal, if you get, so mechanical cleaning is easy at the center, but you have to do definitely chemical cleaning. In C-shaped canals, only mechanical will not give the success. And other things are the axillary canals and lateral canals. This one also I have told you, apical delta. So instrumentation and armamentarium for this. What do you need? First is the diagnostic instrument. Next is the for isolation rubber dam, aerotar, burrs, endodontic explorer, hand files 10, 15, 20, hero shapers or pro taper, and irrigation solutions. These are the armamentarium. So when you get the case, these things should be on the table. So steps of access cavity preparation. This one also I have explained you already. Again, I'll draw and I'll say. Okay. The root has come very bulbous. It's not like that. It's a drawing error. Okay. Okay. So first, as I already have said, first this is the roof. Okay. When till you reach the roof, we should use round burr. Once you have used round burr of smaller size of 2, then go with the round. If 2 mm has made this much hole, okay, go with the 4 number or 6 number. It will make a bigger hole. Then your safe end burr can enter. Okay, and the safe end burr does not have cutting edge at the floor. It will cut at the walls and it will make like this. This is called as deroofing. So same thing I'm reading here. First go with the round burr of smaller size of 2 mm into the enamel dentin and feel the drop of the pulp chamber. Change the burr size to 4 or 6 and widen the hole. Then use safe end burr to deroof it. Then use endoprobe. So we have endoprobe called as DG16 and CK17. Here in clinic we are using DG16 probe. So never keep your file directly at the orifice level. You should locate with this instrument DG16 or okay, let us call it endoprobe. Okay, and the name of that is DG16 or CK17. So with that probe you have to locate. So you should, at this level you don't have right to touch the file till you locate with endoprobe. Till that time you should not touch the file. So you should only take DG16 or CK17 and locate it. Once you feel the location is correct, then you have to move to the other step. Then smoothen the cavity walls to form a straight line axis. Why we need a straight line axis? We need this apex. So our target is to reach this apex. This is my target. This is my target to reach to the apex. My GPs, my IELTS, my irrigation solution, everything should reach here. So to reach here, I have to plan this part. To reach here, I have to plan this part. So this part, first I have made it with a round burr, then extend the bigger size of round burr, then safe and burr, and located my orifice. If you imagine this is the orifice. Okay, I have located my orifice with the endoprobe DG16 or CK17. Okay, then only I will use my file. Till that time, never, never, never. Okay. After testing with the DG16 and 17, you should observe the dentinal map. The dentinal map should be very clear. The like if you are going treasure hunt, if somebody is doing the treasure hunt series, they'll have some maps. Okay, that's a clues. Okay, from here they have to go there. So our dentinal map is that much important for us to success our root canal. If you get the dentinal map, then you can say that half done, your success rate of your endo is good. Next, the filing procedure starts. And after that, cleaning next step. This is the axis. In axis opening step, these are the things comes under up to axis opening. Then next is cleaning and shaping. The next is the obturation. Today, let us see first initially only part of axis opening. So axis opening means your round burr, again bigger round burr, then safe and burr, then DG Pro, that is DG16 or CK17. Then dentinal map, it should be visible, and you should able to locate your orifice with the endoprobes. Up to this level is called as axis opening. So this is again a repetition. For maxillary central incisors, we already have seen our average length is 23 to 24. Again, this all thing is common. One canal, lateral canal will be percentages of 23 percentage. The canal is usually straight. Distal curvature very less. This is the important question. Outline form is triangular. So this American Dental Association has given a specific shapes. Why? Because they have done many researches and they have decided if you make this type of shape, then definitely you can see your orifice. You can see inner things when it is opened wider outside, or else how you can see the inner things? It is difficult. So when you take your axis opening pic, you should, in that dental map is very important. It should be visible. So in your preclinical workshop, how to take that photography, I will be teaching you. So axis opening of the maxillary central incisors, it is same. Use smaller round burr of 2 and go to 4 mm. Once you get the drop with the safe and burr, make the triangular outline shape. Then use DG16 probe and locate the orifice. That is a step for the maxillary central incisors. For lateral incisors, average length is 21 to 22. One canal is 90%. Very rare it is second canal. It is very rare. Again, for that also outline form is triangular. Same. Take 2 round burr till you get the drop. Once you get the drop, change to the 4 number round burr. Then with the safe end burr, make a small triangular shape or ovoid shape. Okay. Then once that shape is achieved, then take DG16 probe and check the drop where you got at the floor level. Can you see that orifice or not? Again, for the lateral is canine. Canine average length is 26 to 27 mm. Again, one canal is 98 percentage. Lateral canal possibility is again 24 percentage. The outline form here is also same, ovoid or triangular in shape. So same procedure. Now, Dr. Priyanka, can you say the steps? Because everything is now same.
No, ma'am, repeat.
How do we start axis opening of maxillary canine? Outline form is ovoid or triangular shape. Then how do you start? You will take first round burr. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. First round burr, and after that, we will feel the drop.
Yes. After round burr, the drop is important, right? Then?
After we get the drop, then we have to change to the number 4 round burr to widen the roof. Okay. After that, de-roofing is also done with round burr or safe and burr. And after then flattening the burr with safe and burr.
Yeah.
Flattening
So,
the walls with safe and burr.
when you use the safe and burr, you should do the de-roofing. What is the word called as? De-roofing. Yeah. We have to do de-roof in such a manner that it gets ovoid or triangular in shape.
Yeah.
Okay.
After that, safe and burr is used for the smoothing of the walls.
Yes.
So that the dentinal map is clearly visible.
Yes. Then DG16 probe, we will check the orifice.
Yeah.
This is axis opening. Okay.
Yeah.
So maxillary canine, it's always one canal, but in very rare situation you have extra canal. If it is there, it is present at the cingulum level. Next, maxillary first premolar. Dr. Ankita. Dr. Ankita, now tell me the steps of axis opening of maxillary first premolar. The shape of the first premolar is oval in shape. Now you tell me the steps. It is common for everyone. No? Tell me the steps.
Yeah. Ma'am, first we have to use a round burr. Then we have to use 2-number round burr. Then we can feel the drop. Ma'am, just a minute. Yeah. So we can feel the drop, and then we have to use number 4 burr. Then
till the drop. Okay. So you have done a hole on the roof. Then you will use the safe and burr.
Safe and burr. And ma'am, de-roofing is done.
In the shape of oval in shape.
Oval
okay.
in shape. Yes.
Oval in shape in such a manner that you can see the dentinal map. Okay. So this is oval in shape at the expense of buccopalatally. Okay. In this picture, you can appreciate that point. Buccally and palatally. Okay.
Yes,
so it is in oval in shape at the expense of, that is very important. Whereas your class 1 cavity is mesodistally. Isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
So when you are preparing class 1 cavity, you are preparing your class 1 cavity mesodistally. But your axis opening is buccopalatally. Don't get confused here. Okay. If you do like that, your remaining dentin thickness will be compromised and giving a crown to the patient will be compromised.
Yes.
Okay. Class 1 cavity is mesodistally and axis cavity is buccopalatally. So here internal anatomy, it has 2 roots, no? So 2 orifices, 2 roots, 2 canals, 2 foramens. Or else it can be all the classifications, 2 orifices, okay? Then two, it can be merged together, and the apex it can get diverged. 2, 1, 2 we call. That possibility is there in maxillary first premolar. Again, maxillary second premolar. Here also same. Dr. Manisha. Can you explain me axis opening of maxillary? It is same, just for the repetition I'm asking a number of people. Axis opening of maxillary second premolar. Tell me. Dr. Manisha. Yeah. So the axis opening starts with the round burr. Okay, till you get drop. Once you get the drop, change your round burr from second number to the fourth number of bigger diameter. Then make it the hole little bit wider. Then you use safe and burr where the cutting tip is not there. The tip it has only at the walls. With that safe and burr, you prepare the walls in such a manner that outline form should be oval and your internal dentinal map can be seen. Once you achieve that, then use endoprobe of DG16 or CK17 and locate the canal. So in second premolar, we can have one orifice, one canal. Now comes to the maxillary first molar. Again, these steps are same. Here, everyone listen very carefully. Okay, here it is little bit changing. So first, use the second number round burr. Okay, start at the mesobuccal cusp, slope of the mesobuccal cusp. You have to start at that point. Slope of the mesobuccal cusp. Please note this point. It is very, very, very important. So where you have to start slope, like lingual slope of the mesobuccal cusp. At that point, you have to start with the round burr. Tuck at some level, you will get the drop. Then change to the 4 number. Then you are enlarging the hole. Then use safe and burr and start deroofing. So how do you move the safe and burr? First towards the palatal root, then towards the distobuccal in a triangular or trapezoid shape or rhomboid shape. So what is the shape here? It is almost like a triangular or rhomboid in shape. So first at the slope of the mesobuccal cusp, get the drop, safe and burr, slowly move to the palatal with that way and come to the distobuccal and join there. It will come as a trapezoid shape. This is the axis opening of the maxillary first molar. Once you remove, you can see, you have to see such a nice dentinal map as shown in this picture. Okay, here I'll start my pointer. Yeah. So first you have started at the slope of the what? Mesobuccal cusp and came to the palatal and went to the distobuccal cusp and joined here. Like that you have to rotate your handpiece. Then you will get this rhomboid shape. And in this axis opening shape, you should able to see the dentinal map. So at the junction of these orifices, I told you 3 entrances. If you have seen this picture, it is showing that your orifice is at the level of your floor. One hole here. So DJ probe will go here. That means it is below the mesobuccal cusp. So it is called as mesobuccal canal. At the marginal groove, if it is there, this is called as distobuccal canal, DB. This is mesobuccal, this is distobuccal, and this is palatal canal. So palatal canal is at the groove, central groove of lingual groove of, palatal groove. At this level, you will have the palatal canal. If you have the extra canal, it is called as MB2 and it is present in meso-MB canal. So it is just, if this is the mesobuccal, in that root only we will have 2 canals. This is called as MB1. This is called as MB2. If MB2 is present, it is not at the floor level. It is 0.5 below the floor level. So how to achieve this? Once you have done this type of axis opening, then at this level, you have to use trephination. What does it call? It call that take your DG endoprobe and try to like little bit refine. Then you'll get a second drop. That is called as MB2. Got it here? So this is your MB1. MB1. This point is MB2. This point again I'm marking. This point is MB2. This is palatal and this is distobuccal. So from here you have started your axis, came to palatal, then went to distobuccal. So next is, so how this internal anatomy appears. Okay, so internal anatomy, the pulpal floor is triangular in shape. Okay, if mesobuccal and MB1 MB2 are present, they may be fused. Okay, that can also be happen. Second, molar, again your axis cavity shape preparation is same. There is no change in your outline form. So Dr. Hina, okay, Dr. Hina, can you repeat?
Yes, ma'am. So, ma'am, for the axis opening of the maxillary molars, basically it is not firstly located in the center, but mesially the opening.
Yeah.
So first we start using the number 2 burr, we start on the lingual slope of the mesobuccal cusp, and then feel the drop. Then to widen it, we use a bigger burr, that is number 4 or 6. Then we start deroofing the axis opening and clearing the walls with the safe end burr. So then first we move towards the palatal canal, and then from the palatal canal we form the dentinal map going to the distobuccal, and again locating the orifices with
Again,
the,
you have to come to the same thing. Then we are closing our rhomboid shape.
yes ma'am, the dentinal map, and then using the endoprobe DG16 we locate the canals, and likewise again smoothen the walls.
Yeah, right. So this is our outline form. So in the dentinal map, what you can see 3 canals, but we have a possibility when 2 canals also. In 2 canals shape na, if it is 2 canal, here you can see if this I'll take a highlighter. 1 minute. Spotlight. Okay, if you see here, this is the buccal marginal groove. Okay, if you have 3 canal pattern, your distal buccal will be distal to this one, or on the line or little bit distal. If you have 2 canal pattern, it is on the line or mesial. So if you locate your 1 canal on the line or mesial, then there can be a possibility of 2 canal pattern, or else it will be a 3 canal pattern. Again, internal anatomy, floor, shape, everything are the same. Now let us come to the mandibular. So for upper 8, it follows, if you want to do root canal for the upper 8 in few situations, then the anatomy is same. Upper 8 definitely will have maximum percentages 2 canal pattern, or it can even have 1 canal pattern. Now the mandibular central incisors. Again, average length, 1 canal, 2 canals, everything is same. And how to start with the axis opening, let us see. For lateral also it is same. So how do you start? So we should start at the lingual surface. So at any fracture cases, at the incisal edge fractures, at the cervical end fractures cases, we'll start from the labial or incisal view. Otherwise, always from the lingual surface. Okay, above the cingulum. Okay, Dr. Navya. Dr. Navya?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
How to start? Just read.
We need to enter through the lingual surface with number 2 or 4 bar through the cingulum. Then we need to feel the drop. Then change the bar to 6 to widen the canal. Then use the Safin bar for deroofing. Then endodontic probe should be used.
Yes. So as Navya said, we will start from the cingulum. Here we have to follow a, usually they used to say triangular earlier, but these days minimal preparation concepts have come. So they are making ovoid shape. Okay, in like this. Ovoid shape you have to prepare. So when you are preparing ovoid shape, your ovoid shape preparation should be towards at the cingulum more. Why? Because 40 to 50% of secondary canal in the lower incisors is more. This second picture is there. This is the first row where you have one canal, one orifice. Here you have two orifices, two canals. So this possibility is almost 50%. So that is the reason you should extend your little bit access cavity towards the cingulum. Here that is a key point. Again, for the lateral, it is same, no difference. Again, lateral canal also will have extra canal. If it is there, it is present at the cingulum. That is the reason our cingulum extension should be little bit more. So when you start your access cavity preparation, you have to start in a 45-degree angulation from the start first. Once you get this is the important point here. First you have to start at the 45-degree angulation and get the drop. Once you get the drop, then make your handpiece parallel, or else you will end with the perforations. Okay. So Dr. Nafiza, when you are starting our anterior access cavity preparation, first we should start at dash angulation.
45-degree angulation.
Yeah. Then once you get the drop, you should change to dash angulation.
Straight 90-degree.
Correct. Next for canine also it is same two number bar, drop, safe, and everything is same. Again for canine you have extra canal as shown in this picture. You have to do little bit more at the expense of your cingulum. Now your premolars have started. So what's the difference between the upper premolar and lower premolar access cavity preparation? Not much difference. Again, it is same, oval in shape, bucco, that is palatally, this is lingually. That's it. Everything is same. Okay. Your access cavity should be at the expense of your bucco, palatally. Okay. Your cavity preparation, class 1, class 2 cavity preparations are mesodistally. So don't get confused between the access cavity preparation and shape of your access opening. Access opening are always bucco, for lower lingually in a oval in shape. Again same 2 number, 4 number, safe and bar, drop, like deroofing, same words. Again, internal anatomy, already we have studied all the classification. 111, 212, 2, 1, 2, 1. Sorry. It starts as a 1, bifurcated as 2, and fused as 1, and at the apex. This is the very difficult and rarest type of internal anatomy. Next, the important thing is mandibular molars. Mandibular molar, yeah. Dr. Bushra.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Start.
Yes.
Take the round.
Yes, ma'am. So, yeah, we take number 2 round burr, and we start from the lingual slope of mesobuccal cusp to penetrate the enamel and dentin. After that, when we feel the drop.
1 minute, 1 minute. Here,
yes,
which cusp is important?
Here, the mesobuccal cusp.
Yes. So here the key factor and the first thing is mesobuccal cusp. Okay. At the lingual slope of mesobuccal cusp. From here.
Yes,
I kept the pointer there.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. There you have to start with the tell me now.
Yes. So after that, when we feel the drop, we change the burr to number 4 or 6 to widen the hole. Then we use the C-front burr for de-roofing.
Yes.
And and then we move towards the mesolingual canal and then towards the distal canal.
From here to, you able to see the pointer now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, from mesobuccal to mesolingual. I came to here. Mesolingual.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that movement should be from the which level? Roof level, from the down. Roof level. Okay, na?
Yes, ma'am. Yes. Then once we complete the dentinal map, we use the endodontic probe to locate the orifices. And then we smoothen the cavity wall.
Yes, perfect. We smoothen the cavity wall and we'll take our DG16 or CK17 probe and we will locate our canals. 1, mesobuccal.
Canals.
Yeah, mesobuccal, mesolingual, distal. If you find your distal canal between your mesobuccal and mesolingual, then that is 3 canal pattern. Okay. If you find your mesobuccal here and distobuccal here and 1 canal this side or that side, that means you have 4th canal. Search for the canal and extend your cavity preparation into the rhomboid shape. So this is 3 canal pattern. This is 4 canal pattern. It's clear? Mesobuccal, mesolingual, 1 distal. If it is 1 distal, it will be center of these 2. Then that's the reason there is a line here. If it is 2 canal, in the center it has to be there, but it is not at the center. It is little bit buccal 1 canal, that is called as distobuccal, and 1 canal lingual, distolingual. Distobuccal, distolingual. Mesobuccal, mesolingual. Distobuccal, distolingual. This is 4 canal pattern. Again, everything is same. For again, second mandibular, second molar, it is again the same. But here what happens? Your mesobuccal, mesolingual, it may get fused to form 1 mesial canal, 1 distal canal. That possibility is there if the anatomy is too small. Otherwise, we'll have 3 canal pattern or 4 canal pattern. Very rarely we have seen 5th canal pattern where the mandibular molar usually will have 2 roots. But in that situation, we have 3 roots. In Endo-Haveli, usually they post this type of cases where mandibular molar have 3 roots, 4 canals or 5 canal pattern. That root is called as Radix root, extra root.